Oh, welcome to video 16 of my Road to Independence campaign, fought on hard. And remember, I'm having to do a voiceover. Voice has started to go now as well, so I'm feeling a bit quite raspy. Yesterday I got a ticklish cough, and today it's a raspy voice. So I've had a look over, see what the British have got. There's nothing there at all. I've sort of moved on since then, haven't I? Now I'm in a different part of the video. What I'm doing now is I'm whacking around looking to see what I can buy. This is the capital. I'm considering building. I think that's the capital, isn't it? Is it? Oh no, maybe not. Is that? That could be. Yeah, I think it is. I can't read the writing on this screen. You see, it's a very small one that I get when I'm doing voiceovers. It's one of the reasons why I don't like to do the voiceovers afterwards. I like to do it in game. But if that's Philadelphia, then I'll be considering building, say, an opera house or something like that. Because it's for the amount of money that I've got left over. Usually, when I've bought all the roads and farms, I'm concentrating in this game on roads and farms in particular. Just checking out the government there, just to see what we've got. In terms of income. The government screen in terms of income. I'm looking around again. I do a lot of this for the British Navy. I want to know if it's reappearing anywhere and see if I can go for it, because my ships should now almost be done. I'm looking all the way along the trade route there. You see, I can see some British ships hemmed in there by the Spanish. Only one ship there hemmed in by two Spanish. That wouldn't happen if I was the British, I'll tell you now. I'd be out there without one ship taking them on. I'm sure I would. At least doing something there. Blow up one of his ships and then escape, hide somewhere else, and then come back and get him another time, I suppose. I don't know, but I certainly wouldn't be letting him get away with that, I don't think. Anyhow, there is a ship in there. Looks like that's the one I'm going to have to go for. It's in a port, which means that he's inaccessible, so I'm going to need to send some troops over to knock him out of that port. I was hoping for a more lucrative fleet, a bigger fleet that I could take, but as I said before, it's just as well, because can I afford to run such a very large fleet at the moment in my very small economy? So what I'm going to do is, I'm just checking now the number of the number of turns before my ships are ready, and they should be ready next turn. So these are all the things that are happening along the trade routes that I can see. The British move first. I've edited this quite harshly, so there are lots of things that you won't be able to see because I've kicked them out. It's mainly the Spanish one that I'm interested in there. That came up very, very quickly. The French did nothing but move within their own country, so it wasn't worth looking at. Here are the ministers. I've had an election. It comes every 7 years. Maybe it's every 7 turns. I thought it was every 7 years. I don't think I've done 14 turns. Anyhow, just checking the attributes of them there. They're all positive attributes. They're pretty good ministers that we get. So, just whack through all these different things now. The messages that you get at the turn end. I should say there was a turn end there. That's why all those flags came up. It just went through them so quickly. These are the units recruited, and these are the ships that I was looking at just before the turn end to see when they were due to come along. And I was deciding what I was going to be doing with them. Those are all those farms I ordered a couple of turns ago. So the idea was that I'd have a look around and see if there was anything I could attack with those ships. If I could attack an enemy fleet and take it, then that's what I'd do. But if I can't, then I'm going to have to put some troops on these ships and get that ship out of there. It just takes a little bit longer and means we're only getting one ship. I had hoped to build up a navy much quicker and get one that's much more substantial than that. His navy, if you remember, nicked off down south here somewhere, but of course I can't see any of those areas. If it's not on a trade route, I'm not going to see it. So it's probably in a port somewhere southerly from here. I just don't know where it's hiding. But there was a large British fleet somewhere around there. Again, looking over at what the Spanish are blockading in there. I'm working out really what's the best thing to do with this navy now I've got it. I kicked out, if you remember, my original ships that I was given at the beginning again. They were rubbish. They wouldn't take anybody on. All they were going to do is cost me money, so waste of money there. So I got rid of those almost immediately and replaced them with, or rather built, these much better ships. So there go the soldiers on board. I don't know how many he's going to have in the port or the town at this stage, so I'm putting a small force on there. So if nothing else, I can chase him out of the port, even if I can't take the island and take the city in there. Like I said again, I really don't know what he's got in there. When the game originally came out, Empire Total War, the enemy did no amphibious landings whatsoever, so it was really easy. Once you got an island place, it was yours forever. Especially Britain, that was a gift. It was you didn't have to leave any troops in it at all. So you knew it was perfectly safe. Then they did an update some months afterwards, where the enemy would raid islands, and certainly on hard they will do that. So maybe the AI has prepared itself and put some troops in there. I know the answer now, of course, because I'm a few turns ahead of this, and I'm doing all this in retrospect now. So I don't normally do the voiceover this way, as I've said before. I normally do it in-game, so I really don't know what's going to happen as I'm playing it. But I do know what's there now. So anyway, once you land, you can't then move your troops again. I seem to remember I fiddled about here a bit, trying to see if the foot would move, if the general would move, if any of them would move. I couldn't get any of them to move at all. In some games, I can't remember if it's Empire Total War or if it's Napoleon Total War, but it will let you move some troops, particularly horse, light horse. Whereas artillery, if you land it, it won't let you move it. But anyhow, I don't know. But then there's the issue of if you land in a port, straight away you can move. Now, of course, I can't land in the port because you've got a ship in there blocking that. So what I'm going to have to do is, not do anything until the turn end. When I've moved my troops next turn into that port and chased his ship out. Again, I'm looking around just to see if that other fleet's around. If it is, then I'm not going to bother with that port at all. I'm just going to go straight for the big fleet, but it's not there. I looked and looked again and looked again and again in the hope that it would appear, but it never did at any turn end. So there I go, looking again. Surely it must be here somewhere. I'm trying to look for a kind of trade route or something that's being blocked somewhere by the British, something that's gone red that shows a block that might indicate that his fleet is sitting on it somewhere, but I just couldn't see one anywhere at all. Nothing at all. So, okay, next issue for me is what to do with these Iroquois. I'm building up roads over there in Montreal. I decided that I might have to use these troops because I wasn't sure that the Montreal troops were going to be able to reach the Iroquois territory. So I thought I'd better put something else in here. And not only that, but just off to the northwest, sorry, you'd have seen some Iroquois troops. They're a potential threat. Just sort of, if you look to the left of the screen now, left and upwards, you see the Iroquois troops. So I'm thinking about how to sort of defend these sort of city areas, because my empire, if you like, at the moment is spread very, very thin and can be attacked in lots and lots of places. So the debate is, do I put men in there or do I upgrade with stone walls? Stone walls, though, you pay a lot of money out for them. You don't then pay for upkeep like you do for men, so it's one of those debates. Anyway, I've decided what I'm going to do there with the stone wall structure, and just raising the first Delaware as well, just to protect but probably my main areas. Now I'm going around spending what little money I've got left on any roads. I discussed, somebody suggested roads earlier, I thought, well, alright, used roads before, but they do tend to be with me one of the last things that I construct. I've got to be careful about if there's anything that needs to be built, even if it's a totally undeveloped area. If it's within reach of the enemy, I won't do it because they'll just move into it. I've said this before, I know. Move into it and attack that. It's just basically a magnet for them to go for it. So anyway, what I'm looking for now is, can I reach with that army to the Iroquois territory? I've looked over with my rate. There don't seem to be any great threats on Montreal, so I should be able to get to the Iroquois territory and even back to Montreal. It's just a case of, when will the roads be done? I can't read it from here, but I suspect that's probably a couple of turns before that road is ready. And there's the threat. Very little. It's almost like a raiding party, that, really. What he's likely to do is keep sending troops down to raid, and then eventually he'll have enough troops there to gather them all together. If you look over, there's nothing there whatsoever. I was really surprised when that happened. I honestly expected him to have about 6 or 7 units in there, but nothing at all. Just a couple of raiding troops. So, decisions. Do we move them now? Do we wait for the roads to be completed? And then, can they be backed up by troops from Quebec? How safe is Quebec? You see, the wall is sometime before it's built as well, so... Anyway, just a quick whack through now, just see if there are any town halls, anything that I can build in the meantime. And, I think there was, I think there was an opera house. I don't know if I built that opera house or not, did I, in the capital? Maybe that's it there. Yeah, I think I found that there was nothing else that I could build. Having done that basic building work and moved the ships into position, I think this was a fairly short turn, really. Just trying to recall now. It's yesterday now. I'm doing this the following day now, doing this text, so I have to remember back to yesterday, what I was up to. Yeah, that was it. End of turn. And again, I'm just going to show the relevant things that happened during the turn. These are the British moves. More troops coming down. A small British fleet there, miles away from me. Can't do anything there. And there you go, raiding parties. Now, I was surprised I hadn't seen those. Obviously my rakes moved past them and I haven't noticed. I show the United Provinces on this one because they make me a stupid offer, would you believe? I think they want something like 2 territories. There it is, 2 territories for a military alliance. I think, what? You must be joking. I can't remember exactly what they're offering now, but they certainly weren't going to get any territories from me all that way away. You know, I was a bit surprised at United Provinces. I think they wanted New York now I think about it. Okay, here we go, Spain. Nothing relevant really from them, I remember. There's a big fleet moving around. I think that there is a fleet that pirates over on in the American theatre, but apart from that, nothing really happens. There you go. These are just the raids that have occurred that I showed you on the British move. So, there they are. Well, this is what I expected, really. 1s and 2s of units coming down. Obviously, I know that in retrospect now, but it's what I expected. The thing is, how much of a threat are they going to pose to me? That's that 1st Delaware Infantry. I think it was in Philadelphia, wasn't it? Just checking that they're recruited. There you go. There's all the other farms or enclosures or whatever you call them that I've got along the way. And I didn't take note of that. Something destroyed, I think. Okay, I think they're just traits gained. You know, sort of that. I checked them out, and you know, they were good traits that I've got. So, okay. Just looking at what the Iroquois have got, how happy their state is. They're still taxing it, which is good. Notice it's got a pretty good income compared with mine, you know, so it's definitely worth having. I think this other one here, I don't think they could raise an income from that one. You know, because I've sort of sabotaged their culture really by introducing Christianity on a wide scale. So, okay. Looking around again, is there a British fleet there? Do I really need to bother with this one ship in this port, or can I go for a big fish somewhere? But no, I couldn't find it anywhere. Searched all over the place. Very frustrated. I was just hoping that big fleet had come out there and have a go at my fleet, or at least appear somewhere and pirate or do something. But he's hiding it somewhere, which is most disappointing. I'm going to want to look for that when I get that ship that I'm going to pop out of that port now. Where are we? Again, looking around. Is he anywhere? Is he going to raid one of my ports? What's he going to do? Attack one, blockade one? I'd expect him to go and blockade my main port, really, and cut off my trade completely. But anyhow, here we go. I've introduced my soldiers to the port, which has damaged the port slightly. But it's kicked out his ship there. I believe it was a 3rd rate. I think that surprised me because it's a flagship. Admiral's flagship, 3rd rate. I think my Admiral's flagship is a 5th rate. But anyway, quite happy to have a 3rd rate. I think I've got a couple of 3rd rates and a 4th rate or something, plus the 5th rate for the flagship. So that's quite a nice addition to have to the force there. So now, this is one thing about Empire Total War. It's fair in that he does have to fight me. He can't just scarper, run away, so I don't need a ship that's going to chase him down when he's trying to break out of a port. So what I've done is I've grouped my ships and then turned them 90 degrees. So they're all basically broadside ready for him coming out of that port, which is what you'd expect in basically a ship trying to fight out of a blockaded port. He's got to go through my men. So anyway, I've whacked through it there. So you see him. You're not seeing him gradually get closer and closer. You're seeing him when he gets just within reach of my troops. And you can see I've had to move my troops just a little, but I've tried to curve them a bit so that they're going to get. There you go. That's a bit more of a curve there. It's just happening now, so that I can get more than one ship firing at him at one time. You see that? Instead of just having a straight line. So, only about half a minute of this left. You see how I'm spinning my ships around quite unauthentically. There's no way that I've spun the ships around in the face of the enemy like that, but I can get fire into him much quicker than I normally would do. So it's a case of spinning everything around and getting another shot. All of this is chain shot, by the way. The idea is to take out his sails, do little hull damage, so that we can just simply capture that ship with a minimum amount of damage to that ship. Okay, just approaching the end of the turn now, whacking lots and lots in. You'll see his sail values going down at the top there, that little icon.